Hi, my gummy bears. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to another video by Unangam. So please, if it's your first time here, please don't leave without subscribing. Kumnandi apasana, subscribe. Turn on your post notifications so you can be notified every time I upload a new video. And if you are a regular, a day one subscriber, welcome back, baby. Now let's get to the story time. It was on a Sunday night, and I'm preparing for my baby to go to school the following day on a Monday, right? So I hear this banging and banging noise upstairs, but I didn't wait because it doesn't involve me. So yeah, kuphinde kuthuleke, kuphinde kukhale gulu. Mind you, it's me and my daughter inside the house, right? And I'm like, this is getting uncomfortable, but it's okay. Ingabi namsebenzi ndisathi it's okay njalo. I've packed my baby's lunch. I've done everything that I need to prepare for tomorrow for her to go to school. Her clothes, everything is right where it's supposed to be, right? So ingabi namsebenzi kunqonqoze umuntu emnyango. I'll go open the door. I had locked my bag lock. I'll go open the door and it's a man standing. And I ask, what do you want? And he says, Sisi, I'm so tired of this girl. I'm so tired of my wife. I want to leave her. Ntoni. And ke ngoku ndifuna ke ngoku police station just because she's attacking me. I just came back from work. Mind you, he's pap drunk. He's drunk, pap drunk. Uti, I want to go to the police station so I can report her, report the abuse that she's been doing to me. She's been violent with me. She's been, and I was like, okay, you can go to the police station if that's how you feel, like that's what you feel. It's fine. You're more valid. I basically, can I please get your number? Why do you need my number to go to a police station? I'm like, no, I'm not gonna give you my number. You can take the landlord's number, or you can take someone else's number, just in case if you want to communicate, or just go next door or go to somebody else. I was thinking again, no man, I just need your number for communication. Basically, like, no, I'm not gonna give you my number. First of all, you're new here. Second of all, you're a stranger. Third of all, I just heard a violent commotion, screams and cries and everything happening upstairs. So, meaning you and your wife were fighting, and now you want my number for what? I basically like, it's fine. I'm gonna go to the police station. I think I'm gonna report it to the police station. And I was like, you know what? Good shot. Farewell. Maybe after 10 minutes, nje enock nyana encinci emnyango, yabo. Ndingahoyi. Nqamene uba ngilotata uphinde wabuya. Ndingahoyi. Phinde nje knock encinci ndivula icango. It's a little boy. It's a boy. He's standing by the door. And I ask, what's happening, baby? And he says, please help my mom. Help my mom. My mom is on the floor. Help my mom. Help my mom. And I'm like, what happened? Because I don't want to say, did daddy beat your mom or something? No. I ask him, what happened? And he says, my mom is on the floor. Help my mom. Help my mom. Help my mom. He's 4 years of age. I'm not sure. He could be four and a half. I'm not sure. He's 4 years of age. And I take him upstairs. I knock on the door. I found the mom is lying on the floor, right? There's food everywhere. And nobody, they were eating, and then the fight broke and they fought. Gender-based violence. Fine, no problem. The food was on the floor. The older child was sweeping, cleaning after whatever had happened. And yeah. So I told her, I found your baby downstairs. He came to me asking for help. Are you fine? And she says, my husband had beat me up. Mind you, when the man left, I saw the knuckle. I saw it was bruised. The skin was peeled off and he had blood on his fist, right? Bear that in mind. And yeah, so I'm talking to this lady, asking, are you okay? Should I call an ambulance for you? Are you fine? And she says, please call an ambulance. So I come downstairs. I left my baby, but I had locked. I left my baby. I had locked. So I call her daddy. Hey, something is happening here. Please come. Abe, okay, fine, no problem. He comes, abe, hleli nomntanami. Then I go upstairs and I ask the lady, can I call an ambulance for you? And she says, please do call an ambulance for me. Please, please, please call an ambulance. My head, my head, my head. The first thing that came to my mind was her head is cut open or something. Because she says, I think my arm is broken or my back, something in my back and in my arm. When I look at the head, it's swollen, like swollen, swollen, swollen. It's messed up. Fine. Her neighbor from upstairs rushes and comes and she's like, I didn't want to come when the fight was happening because I didn't want to get involved in something I don't know about. I'd rather come when everything has died out so I can be able to assist and everything when everything is calm, I can be able to assist. And I'm like, this is such an unfortunate thing because it's gender based violence protest in a few weeks, and this is happening. Like, I'm witnessing this happening in front of me, like in my eyes. And one thing about me, I'm a victim of gender based violence, right? So I do not stand such things. I do not stand a man abusing the wife. I do not stand a man taking advantage or, anything that has to do with abusing women in general. I do not stand with it, okay? Because I'm a GBV survivor. Okay, fine. Ingabi namsebenzi. So I'm talking to her neighbor. I'm asking, okay, what do we do now? How can you help her? And she says, can you please call an ambulance? I call an ambulance. Saturday, it's around past 10. I'm calling an ambulance, right? I get transferred and they said the ambulance is busy. So let's use our own transport. I inform her neighbor, the lady. I inform her, say the ambulances are busy and we don't have transport. And she says, it's fine, I'll book her an Uber. And we're like, okay, fine. The Uber now is 5 minutes away. Okay, fine, no problem. We're just comforting her, chilling. And we took ice, put it on her head for the swell to go down. Yes, and the other boy, she has two boys, 8 years and 4 years. I'm not sure about the age group, but somewhere along those ages. Fine. And the other boy, the older boy, is assisting, sweeping and cleaning whatever food they were eating. Qokelela neplate, glasses on the floor. He's basically doing what he's not supposed to do. He's witnessing what he's not supposed to witness. But fine, no problem. Yani, the Uber is 3 minutes away at this point. So the mother-in-law comes, okay? She comes and I'm not upstairs anymore. I'm downstairs, I'm at my flat, updating my baby dad on what's happening. And he's like, please help her out, do whatever you want to do, I'll be here. And I'm like, okay, fine, no problem. So the lady upstairs, the neighbor, comes and she says the mother-in-law is there. Can you believe what she says? And I'm like, what is she saying? Because I was not upstairs. I came downstairs just to inform my baby dad what's happening, the update and everything. And the lady upstairs now updates me and she says, can you believe what's happening? And I'm like, what is going on? And she says, the mother-in-law is saying to the victim, why can't she call her husband to come and pick her up and drive her to the hospital? And I'm like, okay, first of all, you're a woman and you're asking her, why can't she call someone that had beat her up, left her there? Like, are you hearing yourself? We just stood outside for them to communicate, to talk things out. And when she called us inside, safika ke sangena, and then ke ngoku intombazane yasicacisela bana the mother-in-law is saying bana makafonele lo muntu ambethileyo. Mind you, she drove here. She drove here. Uthi bana makafonele lo muntu ambethileyo esibhedlela. And I was like, you know what? It's pointless. Now the Uber cancelled. The Uber cancelled because we took time to go outside. And we took time because not only because they were communicating inside, we took time because she couldn't stand up. Whenever we tried to help her sit her on the chair or help her get up, she would start screaming and crying and say, my arm, my back, my shoulder, my head. And the head was badly swollen. You know what? And we were like, what's the next step now? What are we going to do? What are we going to do? So eventually the mother-in-law left and she says, please update me when you're at the hospital. Update me when you've sorted out your issues, and I'll talk to my son. And she left. Finding Abinam. Now we're helping her get dressed. Fine. She eventually calls her cousin, right? She calls her cousin to go to the hospital. She goes to the hospital and she texts me on WhatsApp and she's like, "Hi, I'm at the hospital. How are my kids? How are they doing?" I'm like, hi, I haven't heard from them. When I hear them or I see them, I am gonna tell you. So I hear one of her sons and update her. Hi, I just saw your son. They're fine. They're doing well. Everything is fine. And she says, "Oh, I'm scared for them. Did you see the man?" And I'm like, no, I didn't see the man, but I heard him shouting. She says, "I'm gonna tell my mom to come pick my kids up so they can go to her." And I was like, "Okay, fine, good idea, no problem." And she says, "I'm speaking to the landlord now." The landlord's daughter was around when that thing was happening, when the fight was happening, right? So she came back later on. I think she was at work that day, but she got information of what was happening. So she came back. Wabebuza kumo what was happening, and I told her everything that was happening, and she was like, "You know what? I need to take this further. Like, I need to inform my mom so she can do something about it." Fine, no problem. So the landlord informed the police what was happening. Rightfully so, because it's her yard. Everything that is happening here, she needs to know. She needs to be updated. So fine, she calls the police. They didn't come. No problem. The wife is at a hospital. She's informing me about, "Okay, I'm filed a police complaint. The doctor, I'm waiting for a doctor to give me papers so I can go lay charges against my husband." And I'm like, "Okay, fine, no problem." And depend, Wuluba, okay, now do this, do that, do that. Arrest him. No, no, I don't get myself involved. Nothing of such. Fine. Because I know how it ends. I don't see the husband on Monday. I don't see the husband on Tuesday. So I'm just standing at the gate. A white car pulls up. I know it's one of our neighbor's car. It pulls up. At the back, there's two boys and the wife. At the front, it's the husband. Now the husband looks at me and he says, You. And I say, "What?" And he says, "You influenced my wife to go up in a case against me. You call the police." And I'm like, "I called the police on you when?" And he said, "There, when that shit was happening, you called the police on me. You influenced my wife to get me arrested. You're such a b." And he's busy insulting me. Yo, I lost it. I lost it. I lost it. And I shouted at him. I returned the same energy. I was like, "When did I call the police on you? Even if I called the police on you, it was of a good cause, because you were you were an abuser." The wife, quiet. Dewey, she gets off the car, goes. I open the gate for her because igxalaba lakhe mos alisebenzi. Open the gate for her to get in. The two kids walk in. The wife walks in. Now it's me and the husband. We are changing words. We're exchanging words. We're exchanging words. And I'm like, you're not gonna do to me what you're doing to your wife. You would phelela pha. Uzawuphelela phana ekubetheni umfazi wakho. You will never lay a finger on me. Even if I call the police on you, F off. I did not call the police on you, but I wish I did, because you're an abuser. And he said, "You must mind your own business. You must mind your own business. You need to watch your back. You need to watch your back, because it's not going to end well for you. You need to watch your back. Just look over your shoulder. Whenever you go, just look over your shoulder." And I was like, "Are you threatening me? Are you threatening me? If you want to do something, do it now. Are you threatening me?" And he said, "No, I'm not threatening you." So now the neighbors are outside. So I basically like, "Bana, we are papa. You'd like meddling yourself in other people's businesses. Even if I had hit my wife, it's none of your business. Don't. We were fighting. Don't meddle in my relationship." And I was like, "First of all, you came to my house. You knocked at my door. You explained your PS situation, and you were like, you were tired of your wife, you want to divorce her, you're tired of her, and now you're going to the police station because she's the one that is abusing you, and now you're twisting the story. You said I called the police on you, and on top of that, you saying even if you had beat your wife, that's your business. It's your problem." Now I'm pissed. My baby's transport came. The lady, she's so confused. And I tell her, "Please to wait so that I can finish this situation I'm dealing with." please stand at the back of the car. I need to get this straight. Before my baby comes, I need to sort this thing out. And finally, energy. Close all doors, the windows, so that I can finish whatever is happening between me and this father. Fine, I've been Sabines. I was again, you need to watch your back. You need to watch your back. Look over your shoulder whenever you're going, wherever you are. And I was like, if you want to do something, my brother, do it now. I'm not scared of you. I'm not your wife. I'm not going to let you beat me up. If you want to beat me up now. Whatever you want to do, just do it now. And I'm letting you know that I'm recording you. That time I had left my phone inside. I'm not recording. I'm not doing anything. And he says, yeah, you can record me. You can do whatever you want. You can go to the police. Nothing will happen to me. And I'm like, you know what? F this. It's okay. Now the driver, the neighbor who was driving them, he's our neighbor. He lives upstairs too. He comes to me and he says, please, it's okay. Just calm down. And I say, you're not gonna tell me to calm down when your friend is busy harassing me and he's insulting me and you're not telling him to calm down and you are telling me to calm down. So you're such an hypocrite. You too, you are a hypocrite. And he says, he's drunk, just, it's okay. It's okay, calm down, you're sober, don't match his energy and stuff. And I'm like, no, I am going to match his energy because if I keep quiet, then he's going to take an advantage and think maybe he has power over me. I'm so F up. I'm so like effing done of this. Fine. My neighbor, my downstairs neighbor comes and he's asking, are you fine? Are you okay? I'm telling him the situation. He's like, you know what? He's not going to do anything. He's not going to do anything. Just calm down. It's okay. Now the guy is in the passenger seat, right? He's seated there. He's like, what happened? Now he's all calm. He's calm. He heard my voice. He saw my energy. He's calm. Now he's asking, what happened? I tell him, you came to my door. You knocked at my door. This and that. He doesn't remember, right? Now he said, no, it's all fine. I apologize and it's all right. It's fine. Now I take my baby. I come to my flat. I lock the door and I pick up my phone. I wanted to inform my baby daddy, but I was like, you know what? It's okay. I get on WhatsApp and I saw her messages. She says, please just let him be. He's drunk. He's not going to remember anything. You're wasting your time with him. Just let him be. Ignore him. Just keep it moving. Lock yourself. Don't mind him. And I send her a VN. I say, he's not going to threaten me and my child. He's not going to threaten me. If he wants to do something, let him do it now. Whatever he wants to do, he must do it now. Because I am going to inform my family, first of all, and I'm going to inform everyone that is around me. I had started informing the transport lady. If something happens to me, it's this guy. He said this and that and that and that. And she says, please go to a police station right now. Call the cops if you have to. And I tell my brother, I inform everyone. And eventually I call my baby daddy. I inform him and I tell him, bruh, this is happening. I tell him everything that is happening. And he's pissed. He's pissed. He's like, where is he now? And I tell him he's upstairs. I inform the landlord's daughter. She comes and I'm standing outside. I locked the gate. I'm standing outside. She comes. I give her my daughter. Like, can you please just take care of my daughter for these few minutes or an hour? I'm on my phone. I won't be able to cater to her because I'm angry. I am pissed. And when I'm angry, it takes a lot for me to calm down. Like when I'm angry, when I see red and there's no going back. And my baby had came back from school and I I'm off. I can't even ask her how was school. I can't be the parent. I can't be the good parent that I am because someone has took me out of my character. I'm consumed by anger, right? Now, this man comes, he's standing on the balcony and he sees me and he starts again. He said, you're such a bad influence. Since day one, you didn't want us to live here. Now, me and him are exchanging words at this point. Me and him, I'm starting again. Eventually, I call my brother. In front of him, I call my brother. I'm speaking in English so he can hear because he speaks Afrikaans, he's colored. And I'm speaking in English for him to hear. I'm telling my brother everything that is happening. My brother is pissed. He's so mad. Mind you, he's on his way to Eastern Cape. He's driving to Eastern Cape and there's nothing that he can do. There's no way that he can come back. There is no way. So he's saying I should give him the phone so he can talk to him. I don't want to go upstairs. Should anything happen, then I went to him. Do you get it? I went to him. It's gonna be seen. It's gonna be seen like I went to him to fight or something. Had I went upstairs and gave him the phone. Do you understand? Yeah, but I'm Sebenzi. Now I'm shouting at him. We're going back and forth. We're going back and forth. So eventually, Caesar comes and she says, why are you shouting at her when you're the one that is abusing your wife? You're the one that is committing GBV, but you're shouting at her. And he says, "Zai ho your back, ek praat nie met jou nie. Keep quiet, I'm not speaking with you." And she says, I'm not going to keep quiet. This, first of all, this is my yard. Whatever is happening here concerns me. I'm the one that went upstairs, saw your wife, saw what was happening. No, she was not there when the wife was there. She went upstairs later on around midnight when it was just the two boys that were there. She went there to comfort the boys. Now she's saying, I'm the one that went upstairs to check up on your kids because you had murdered your wife and now you're expecting everyone to keep quiet because this is my yard. This is my mom's yard. Everything that is happening here, I get informed. I'm the one that called the cops. You're the one that had called the cops on me. Cesar says, what does it matter? Why does it matter if I'm the one that called the cops? Because you were the one that was hitting your wife. Yay. How dare you call the cops on me? You know what the Khanyelo face? He saw, I'll show you what I'm capable of. And we're going back and forth, we're going back and forth. And he had threatened to burn me in my flat. He had threatened to burn me in my flat because I'm too much in his business. When he leaves here, he's gonna burn me, he's gonna burn this flat, he's gonna burn this building. And I say to him, when you're hearing whatever your wife is telling you because she's so scared that you're gonna beat her up again. Now I'm pissed. Now I'm pissed because the wife is throwing us under the bus now. She's denying ever contacting me. She's denying wanting to call the cops on him. Now she says Tina City ababafuna for ubambisa indoda yakhe. Hey, now she comes out. She says to me, she says, my dear, please don't get me in trouble of something I did not say and I did not do. I did not ask you to call the cops. I did not inform you when I was at the hospital. I did not inform you of anything. Me and my husband now are peaceful, making things okay, reuniting. Me and my husband are amending things. So you're gonna get me into trouble for shit I don't know about. Now she's throwing me under the bus. Now she's throwing everybody that helped her that day under the bus. She's throwing her neighbor from upstairs under the bus who had called an Uber for her. She's throwing me under the bus who called an ambulance for her, but it didn't come. She's throwing the landlord's daughter under the bus for calling the cops. She was in trouble, mind you. She was in trouble. We were helping her. It's okay. It's all right. She's saying, leave us alone. I came back from the hospital. You can see I'm fine and alive. Leave my husband alone because the more you make noise, the more you're gonna upset him, and it's not gonna end well for me. I'm fine, and I say, but you're the one that informed me that you're gonna lay charges against your husband. You're the one that informed me that the doctor gave you papers, for you to go lay charges, doctor's papers for you to. I'm so frustrated. You're the one that informed me that you're gonna get your husband arrested. You're gonna go lay charges. The doctor had given you the documents, and she says, but I didn't sign the documents. I told the doctor, no, I'm not gonna lay charges. I didn't sign the documents. We are deep in it. Mind you, we are deep in it. Not as in deep as involving ourselves in the situation, but the husband now is looking at us as if we are the ones that are evil. We are the ones that want to break their marriage. We are the ones that we want to hlukanisa them. We are the ones that are involving and poking our noses in their situation, where it's the wife that informed us of everything. It's the wife that asked for help. It's the kids that ran downstairs to me, telling me to call an ambulance for their mom because she was laying on the floor dying. I say to her, so now you're basically throwing everybody under the bus to keep a smile on your abuser's face. You want to be in good books with your abuser. And she said, no, leave us alone. You're causing trouble. You're making noise. Mind you, I'm upstairs and you are downstairs. What are the neighbors gonna say? You're the one that is causing chaos here. You're the one that is making noise. My husband is fine. I am fine. Everyone else is fine. What more do you want? You want now my husband to come and beat me again so you can be happy. Are you happy with what you're doing? It's not about me. It's about you. You're the one that is getting emotionally, physically, mentally abused. And she says, stay out of it. It's none of your business. Stay out of it. Husband comes out. She says to Cesar, you better keep your mouth shut in my business. You better watch yourself. And I have inappropriate videos of yourself unaware. And she says, what videos? And he says, come upstairs. You can see those videos. And you too. What is your name? He asked for my name, and I tell him my name. My name is Nangamso. And he said, no, you're not the one that called the cops. I know. It's Cesar. And I also have videos of you. Mind you, this man, when he's drunk, he comes to my door. He doesn't knock. When I opened the door, I found him there. And I asked him, oh, what are you here? What are you here for? Uzotin up. And he says, I'm here just to check up on you. And I'm like, no, I'm fine. I'm okay. I'm good. I'm fine. Whether it's in the morning or at night, he does that. So when he said he has videos of us, inappropriate videos of us, I just believed it. Even though he was bluffing, or I think he's bluffing, I believe it. I believe it because I don't know what he's capable of. I don't know what he might do. Fine, no problem. Now my baby daddy comes. He comes, he asks, where is he? And I point at him there. He goes upstairs and he says, what is your problem? What is your problem? What do you want? Not only you had threatened my baby mama, you threatening my child. Should anything happen to my baby mama, my child will be affected. So man to man, tell me now, what is your problem? And I was like, yes. Yes, baby. Yes. Yes, my brother is not here to defend me. My family stays far away to defend me. The only person that can drop everything, can come running for me, defend me, is my baby daddy. And I was like, what is your problem? And now the husband is speaking on a low tone. He's speaking like on a low voice. He's speaking very calm. He's saying, brother, see, your baby mama is meddling in something. And my baby daddy says, no, that's not the point. That's not the case. You threatened her. You're threatening my baby mama. You're threatening my girl. You're threatening my baby. You're threatening my child. Should anything happen to my baby, should anything happen to my baby mama, my child will be affected. My child will be involved. And when my child is involved, I am involved. So if you want to take something out, take it out on me. I was like, yes, baby. Yes, sir. Yes. So now he's apologizing. He wanted to shake hands with him. And my baby daddy was like, I'm not about to shake a hand that threatened my baby mama. And he walks off. And he said, you do something to my baby mama, you will deal with me. And I was like, yes, baby, come downstairs now. It's all right. He comes downstairs. And the husband is like, you. He's pointing at Cesar. You. And Cesar says, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? And he says the P word in Afrikaans and he goes inside. Now, I'm standing with Cesar. The wife is texting Cesar. She says, you are causing me mental distress. You and me, you and Nagamso are causing me mental distress, and I'm gonna go open a case against you tomorrow. And I'm like, sekungaphezu kwamandla ami. No one can save you from that mentality. Once you go there, there's no going back. That's a victim's mind. That's a abused victim's mind. So she sends a message. I'm gonna go to Cape Town tomorrow. I've gathered some information of how I can sue you guys because you guys have caused me mental distress. I'm not fine because of you guys. I'm gonna sue you guys. I'm gonna sue the both of you guys, me and Caesar. She says, I have enough evidence to sue you guys. I have gathered information of how I can sue you guys. I'm going to go first thing in the morning. I'm going to go to Cape Town. I'm going to sue you because you have caused me mental distress. You have caused me, all of that BS stuff. You've caused me mental distress. I just came back from the hospital and you guys are shouting at my husband. You guys are shouting at me. You guys are shouting and my kids are looking. It's not okay. I just came back from the hospital. I need to rest. And all you guys do is welcome me by shouting at me. I'm going to sue you guys tomorrow. First thing in the morning, I'm going to go to the police station in Cape Town. I've gathered enough evidence on how I can sue you guys. I have recordings of you guys shouting at my husband and me. I have videos of you guys causing me mental distress. Mind you, she's sending VNs. And she's like, Wena Caesar, you are so immature of how you can run this place. You are immature. You don't know how to run this place. Mind you, these flats of you guys are not even in good condition anymore. Now she's speaking a lot of nonsense. And she says that her cousin brother, who is a cop, assisted her that she goes to the police station and sue us because we are causing her mental distress. And we are not peaceful. We're just not peaceful. We are people. We are Karens. I don't know what she told him, but as a cop, I don't think that is the right advice that you can give someone that came back from the hospital, that was beaten up by the husband. The only advice you could have given her was go open a case against your husband. Your husband is abusing you mentally, emotionally, and physically. That's the only advice you should have given her. Fine, no problem. So now I'm seated in my flat. I take my phone. Guess who texted me? Guess who texted me? Apologizing. I'm sorry, my dear, for what's happening. Please, I just need you guys to let this die out because I'm scared that this man is gonna beat me up again. This is gonna escalate and it's not gonna be well for me. It's not gonna be fine. But Papandle on the balcony, she was shouting at us, calling us names, calling us sorts of names, calling us all those bad words, calling us evil and wanting to break her marriage. Okay, fine, no problem. Sana, I so wish her neighbor from upstairs was here. The woman, I so wish she was here to witness what kind of a person she was trying to help. What kind of a person she had Ubered for, was willing to spend her money on. I so wish she was here, but she was not, which is fortunate for her because she didn't witness what was happening. She didn't witness the hypocritical side of the wife. And we call the police. She calls the police. I'm there. She calls the police. The police know about this. They register our case. They give us a case number. Oh, well, they give her a case number. And no police comes. No police car comes. Nothing happens. It's on a Tuesday. No police comes. We're just on a waiting game. Now I had called my family. I had told my family everything that happened. And now my mom and my sister is livid on the phone. She's waiting for an update. Are the police dead? Are you guys safe? What is happening? And I inform her, since I called the police, we got case number. It has been registered. Everything has been done. We waiting on the police. An hour passes, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours passes. No police comes. No person of a law comes to my door, knocks at Caesar's door and asks what's happening. Everything in Hinge. We are continuing as if nothing happened. And I'm just putting it out there. I will never in my life try to help someone that is being abused by their men, by whoever, I will see someone getting beaten, I'll keep quiet. It's none of my business. I'll just walk away. Because Sana, this situation did not only show me by helping someone, ewe right, but it can end bad for you. It can end bad for you. Not only I was helping her, but nimba, seeing the kids outside undressed. The son was not dressed. He had shot on, and he came to me running downstairs, crying and asking for help. But I've learned my lesson. I'll never help someone again, whether you're in a situation like that or it's worse or I'll never. So ndikulo isuphu bafazi. If you made it this far, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you for Sana letting me vent. So should anything happen to me, just know, okay? I have sent information to my family, so should anything happen to me, just know, okay? Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys on my next video. Please don't forget to subscribe. Turn on your post notifications so you can be notified every time I upload a new video. Like this video, comment. Please do comment. Thank you guys for watching. Bye.